Welcome to YouTube Pedia. Discover the greatest stories from history, science, and beyond. If you're curious about the world, subscribe now and join our journey through knowledge. Let's get started. The rise of an icon, the early life and legendary beginnings of Mark Calaway, the Undertaker. In the vast and electrifying world of professional wrestling, few names echo as powerfully as Mark Calaway, better known as the Undertaker. A man who redefined sports entertainment with his unmatched presence, chilling persona, and unparalleled commitment to storytelling in the ring. But before he became the Deadman, before the lights dimmed and the ominous bell tolled, Mark Calaway was just a young man with a dream. A dream that would take him from the streets of Houston, Texas, to the grandest stage of them all, WrestleMania. A childhood marked by strength and determination. Mark William Calaway was born on March 24, 1965 in Houston, Texas, into a large family of 5 brothers. Raised in a household that valued discipline and resilience, young Mark developed an early fascination with sports. At an early age, he gravitated towards basketball and football, showing great promise as an athlete. Standing at an imposing height even as a teenager, he naturally fit into competitive sports, excelling at Waltrip High School before earning a scholarship to Angelina College. Despite his success in basketball, something inside him longed for more, a different kind of stage where he could channel his energy, aggression, and love for theatrics. The world of professional wrestling was calling, and Mark Calaway was ready to answer. From basketball to the wrestling ring. As his collegiate career progressed, Calaway made a bold decision that would alter his destiny forever. He chose to leave basketball behind and pursue professional wrestling. This wasn't an easy choice, nor was the path ahead smooth. Wrestling at the time was dominated by larger-than-life figures, and breaking into the industry required more than just physical ability. It required charisma, perseverance, and an unshakable will. His journey began in the late 1980s under the training of legendary wrestlers. In 1987, he debuted in World-Class Championship Wrestling WCCW under the ring name Texas Red. Though he was still raw and unpolished, his size, intensity, and natural athleticism caught the attention of many in the industry. Over the next few years, he wrestled under various personas, including the Master of Pain and Mean Mark Callis in WCW, where he was briefly managed by Paul Heyman. Though he showed promise in WCW, the company failed to see his true potential. It wasn't until Vince McMahon and the WWF, now WWE, came calling that Mark Calaway's true transformation would begin. The birth of The Undertaker, a legend, rises. In 1990, destiny took its course. Mark Calaway signed with the WWF, and at Survivor Series on November 22, 1990, the world was introduced to The Undertaker. With his towering 610 frame, eerie entrance, and haunting presence, he was unlike anything wrestling fans had ever seen. Dressed in a long trench coat, wide-brimmed hat, and leather gloves, he exuded an aura of supernatural terror. Managed by the sinister brother Love and later the legendary Paul Bearer, The Undertaker was immediately positioned as an unstoppable force. From the moment he stepped into the ring, it was clear that this was no ordinary wrestler. He moved with the grace of a man half his size, delivered punishing blows with surgical precision, and possessed an almost supernatural endurance. The WWF had struck gold. Early feuds and championship glory. The Undertaker wasted no time making an impact. He dominated his early opponents with his signature moves, the devastating tombstone piledriver and the eerie old-school maneuver. Within a year of his debut, he had already achieved the unthinkable. He defeated Hulk Hogan at Survivor Series 1991 to become the WWF champion. This victory cemented his status as a top-tier performer. Unlike many other wrestlers of his era, The Undertaker wasn't just another powerhouse. He was a storyteller. Every match was a chapter in a larger-than-life tale of darkness and mystique. His ability to sell pain, his endurance in brutal matches, and his unique ability to reinvent himself made him one of the most captivating figures in wrestling history. The evolution of the Phenom. Over the next few years, The Undertaker continued to evolve. He feuded with some of the biggest names in wrestling: Jake the Snake Roberts, Kamala, Giant Gonzalez, and Yokozuna. Each rivalry added to his mythos, reinforcing the idea that The Undertaker wasn't just a man but a supernatural force, an entity beyond the laws of nature. One of the defining aspects of his early career was his manager, Paul Bearer, whose high-pitched voice and ever-present urn became iconic symbols of The Undertaker's power. The duo created some of the most unforgettable moments in wrestling history, fueling speculation that The Undertaker drew his strength from the mystical urn. A streak is born, the WrestleMania legacy begins. In 1991, The Undertaker competed at WrestleMania VII, defeating Jimmy Superfly Snuka. At the time, no one knew that this victory would be the beginning of something truly historic, the streak. Year after year, he would conquer every opponent placed in front of him, making WrestleMania his personal battleground. The legend of The Undertaker grew with every passing year. Fans were mesmerized by his ability to adapt, reinvent, and push the limits of storytelling in professional wrestling. But this was only the beginning. His career was about to take an even darker and more thrilling turn. The Undertaker's legacy: the darkest battles, the streak, and the final farewell. In the grand history of professional wrestling, few figures have maintained an aura of mystique, dominance, and storytelling mastery quite like Mark Calaway, better known as The Undertaker. His journey was far more than just wins and losses. It was a saga, a mythos carved into the very soul of WWE. As his career progressed, the Phenom did the unthinkable. He evolved, adapted, and endured, leaving behind a legacy that will likely never be matched. The Ministry of Darkness, The Undertaker's darkest chapter. By the late 1990s, WWE had entered the Attitude Era, a time of rebellion, chaos, and extreme characters. To stay relevant, The Undertaker transformed into something far darker than ever before: the Lord of Darkness. Gone was the silent mortician. In his place stood a sinister cult leader, orchestrating one of WWE's most controversial and terrifying factions, the Ministry of Darkness. Dressed in black robes, uttering cryptic incantations, and performing unsettling rituals, The Undertaker's character pushed the boundaries of wrestling entertainment. His faction, which included the Acolytes, Viscera, Midian, and even a brainwashed Big Boss Man, wreaked havoc in WWE. Their eerie promos, human sacrifices, and chilling encounters with Vince McMahon's corporation blurred the lines between fiction and reality. One of the most infamous moments came when he kidnapped Stephanie McMahon in a storyline that had fans on edge. With Paul Bearer once again at his side, The Undertaker seemed unstoppable until he met his greatest rival. The arrival of Kane, a rivalry written in fire. No feud in The Undertaker's career was as personal, dramatic, or deeply woven into WWE lore as his rivalry with Kane. Introduced in 1997, Kane was presented as The Undertaker's long-lost brother, a monstrous figure who had survived a fire set by Undertaker himself. With his red mask, towering frame, and devastating power, Kane was the perfect counterbalance to the Deadman. Their battles became the stuff of legend. WrestleMania XIV, their first one-on-one clash, where Undertaker barely survived his brother's wrath. Inferno match, a chilling battle where flames surrounded the ring, making every move a life-threatening risk. Buried Alive, a match where Undertaker was literally buried under 6 feet of dirt, only to rise again. Though the brothers spent years as bitter enemies, they also found moments of unity, forming the unstoppable Brothers of Destruction. Whether together or apart, their story remains one of wrestling's greatest epics. The American Badass, a shocking reinvention. By the early 2000s, The Undertaker shocked the world again. He shed his supernatural persona and returned as a biker, riding down the ramp on a Harley-Davidson, embracing a no-nonsense, trash-talking American badass attitude. For years, fans had seen him as a ghostly figure, almost inhuman. But this version of Undertaker was real. He wore sunglasses, cut promos like a street fighter, and dominated the ring with raw aggression. During this era, he engaged in brutal feuds with Triple H, Brock Lesnar, The Rock, and Kurt Angle. His return to the Deadman persona in 2004 at WrestleMania XX was another unforgettable moment. The darkness had returned, and so had the chilling bell toll that signaled doom for his opponents. The Streak, a record that defined WrestleMania. Perhaps The Undertaker's greatest legacy lies in the Streak, an unprecedented record of victories at WrestleMania, wrestling's grandest stage. Year after year, challenger after challenger fell before him. Shawn Michaels defeated in two of the greatest matches in WWE history, WrestleMania 25 and 26. Triple H took Undertaker to his limits, but still lost, WrestleMania 17, 27, and 28. CM Punk, Randy Orton, Batista, Edge all tried and failed. For over 2 decades, no one could beat The Undertaker at WrestleMania. His dominance became mythic until one night changed everything. The streak ends the night the world stood still. WrestleMania XXX, April 6, 2014, New Orleans. The world watched in stunned silence as Brock Lesnar did the unthinkable. He defeated The Undertaker. When the referee's hand counted 3, an eerie silence fell over the stadium. Fans stood in disbelief. Commentators were speechless. The 21-0 streak had ended. Though The Undertaker would continue to wrestle, something changed that night. The streak had been his defining legacy, and its end marked the beginning of his farewell. Final battles and the last ride. Despite suffering multiple injuries over the years, The Undertaker continued to push forward. He fought his last brutal battles against stars like Roman Reigns, AJ Styles, and John Cena. His last WrestleMania match in 2020, the Boneyard match, was a cinematic masterpiece, blending action, nostalgia, and storytelling in a way that only Undertaker could. Later that year, he announced his retirement at Survivor Series 2020, the very event where his journey began 3 decades earlier. It was the end of an era. The Deadman finally rested in peace. A legacy that will never die. Mark Calaway's contributions to wrestling go far beyond the ring. He was not just a character, he was an institution. A man who never broke character, never took shortcuts, and always gave fans something to believe in. His dedication, professionalism, and love for the business made him one of the greatest to ever step foot in the squared circle. The Undertaker wasn't just a wrestler, he was a phenomenon. And even though he has retired, his legacy will continue to haunt the world of wrestling forever. Rest in peace, Deadman, but your legend will never die. If you enjoyed this journey into the life of Mark Calaway, The Undertaker, don't forget to like this video, comment your favorite Undertaker moment, and subscribe to YouTube Pedia for more epic stories of legendary figures. Hit the bell icon so you never miss an upload. Stay tuned for more deep dives into the lives of history's greatest icons.